What's going on, everybody? It's Steve again here, Big Wallys Barbecue, coming at you with another video. Today we're going to be using the Old Country Barbecue Pits Gravity Fed Smoker. Now I have done some couple butts. I did some chicken, but I've never done ribs on it, so I want to see what it'll do. I got a slab of St. Louis style ribs here that I'm about to trim up and get on the smoker. Try to get what little bit of daylight we have left here in North Carolina. Should be getting dark pretty soon. And just a disclaimer: if I get drowned out, as I stated on a previous video, I'm about 3 minutes from the airport, so occasionally you'll hear an airplane fly over the house, and it may sound as if it's landing in my driveway. That's because it's probably hovering and making a lot of noise. But anyway, let's get into trimming this slab of St. Louis ribs and get them on the smoker. Alright, this one actually doesn't look too bad. Actually, I'm going to open it up in a pan here, so let it drip. To the trash can, I promise you. There's a trash can right next to me. I promise. So, like I said, this one actually ain't too bad. Probably gonna go in here and see a lot of this meat on the end here. It's gonna burn fast. So we're just gonna get rid of this first bone. Square it up a little bit. I'm not going to go into too much detail because, like I said, kind of got that part. Kind of know how to do that part a little bit as far as the trimming for competition, but I am going to go in here and remove a little bit of this loose fat. And yes, whatever angle this is coming from, I am a lefty. So it may look like I'm coming right towards myself, but I've kind of have to adapt. Need to sharpen my knives here. That's one thing. Rule number one: when you're trimming barbecue, cutting barbecue, or anything for that matter, you want to have a good sharp knife. Sharp knives, rather. I tell you, a good sharp knife will make your life a whole lot easier. It's just, it's safer, your meat's more intact. It's just all around just awesome to have good knives. Nice sharp knives. And they don't even have to be the most expensive ones. They may not last as long, but if they're sharp, they're going to do the job for you. Get rid of some of this excess up on the top. I see this slab wasn't done by the greatest butcher, so I'm going to try to square it up as much as I can. Get rid of that. Round this corner off a little bit. Come up top. Any kind of standing pieces, you want to get rid of. But for the most part, I'm going to leave this fat on here because I'm pretty sure you heard it once, you've heard it a million times. Fat's flavor. As long as it's good fat. You got some fat that may be a little hard, a little more solid, it's not going to render out. You definitely want to get rid of that, but you don't run into that much with ribs. That's mostly beef. Not brisket a lot of times. Even butts. Butts will have some fat on them that you don't really want from time to time. But ribs are usually pretty good. I'm a little bit wasteful at times. I don't like the way this last bone looks, so I'm gonna actually score it there. Go through and get rid of this one. But I will keep this. I'll probably throw it on the smoker as an individual rib, separate the meat from it, throw it in the grinder, make some sausage or something. Just about everything you cut off these things can be used for something, especially if you're into making sausage or hamburgers or anything. They need a little bit of fat content, so a lot of times this fat is your friend. Just, you know, throw a little bit of that in, as long as you got your fat to meat ratio right. Come out with a good product. That's about all I'm gonna do to this one. Like I said, it doesn't look half bad. Other than the edges, the butcher's kind of salted up a little bit on the ends, but for the most part, this was a pretty nice one. A lot of this fat there is gonna render out, so I'm gonna keep it. But it's about all I'm gonna do to this one. Put it over in the pan. Have me a dry hand here. Put some of my Big Wallys barbecue all-purpose rub. If you're interested in getting some of this, let me know. I'll put a link in the comments. I have a website, but it's been acting up lately. Some of my payment links that I use are kind of down. I need to go in and fix that. But I do have an Etsy link as well. I'll put my Etsy link in the description if anybody was looking. And if you see any product, a knife, a sauce, a rub, a pan, a cutting board, a probe, a thermometer, anything I use, just comment and I'll send you a link. A lot of stuff comes from Amazon, honestly. And as you can see, I don't use a binder. I know that's a huge debate in the barbecue world. I personally don't. I've never used a binder. I found that if you put the rub on, let it sit for 25-30 minutes, let it get a good sweat, let that rub start penetrating the meat, the rub's not going anywhere. And as you all know, it doesn't add any flavor. It doesn't add or take away from the flavor. So I just don't feel the need to use mustard or oil or water or whatever else people use. Mayonnaise, I've seen people use mayonnaise, which I don't know. That's yeah, that's interesting. But we're gonna get this top part here. And that's gonna be about it on this one. I'm gonna get this over in the pan, let it sit for about 30 minutes, let it come to a good sweat, and I'll be right back to you out at the smoker. So here we go. Got the Old Country Barbecue Pits gravity fed going. Got a chimney going over here with some lump charcoal from the Good Charcoal Company. They were gracious enough to reach out to me and want to sponsor me for my competition journey. So that's greatly appreciated. Just gonna do a little walk around here. I hadn't set the thermostat yet, or the thermometer rather yet. But what I use on this is the signals by ThermoWorks along with the Billows fan system. You can run this smoker without it, but I tried it the first time I used it and it's a hard no. But this is it. Once the chimney's ready, I'll show you how this thing works. If you don't know, it's actually really cool. Over here, I got a glove holder and a paper towel holder, magnetic. It comes in handy, but I will say I'm what they call extra. So I saw somebody on YouTube have one, and I was like, you know what? I deserve one of those too. Got everything in yellow because I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And I got a Tell-True thermometer on here. Now I will say, if you plan on getting one of these pits, I would suggest you get at least a 4-inch stem on it because the door is so thick and insulated. If you get anything under 4 inches, it's not going to go through enough to get an accurate temperature. So just a little nugget there on that one. But this is it, the Old Country gravity fed smoker. I love it. All right, chimney is ready to be done. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. This goes right down in this shoe here. And then we're gonna top that with some lump charcoal, good charcoal top. So this thing will hold up to 20 pounds of charcoal, but I only put it about halfway up because we're only doing ribs. I'm not doing a super long cook and I don't want to waste charcoal. It'll probably still be some left over because this thing burns real slow. But what happens is that chimney I dumped in, it's kind of like this chimney here if you use one. How it rises, how the fire rises and it gradually lights the coal. And this fan system, once I set it at my desired temperature, what it'll do is it'll keep it dialed in at whatever temperature you set it at, which in this case is going to be 275 today. I'm going to run these ribs at 275 degrees. And we're going to be checking this so you can see how, like, this is the most pristine fan system out there. Once I dial it in, it's not going to fluctuate much at all. But let's get it shut down. We'll be right back when it's time to put before I put the I just want to give myself a round of applause for choosing to do this an hour before the sun was set to go down. When I do it, I really know how to do it right, I tell you. But that's okay, because we're all family in the YouTube world. We're going to be out here together. And hey, I'm pretty sure y'all going to hang out with me for the duration of this cook. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get these ribs on. So that's just my timer. That's just my timer telling me it dropped below my set temperature, which is natural when you open the doors, but it dropped to 212. It's already back up to 215. I'm gonna just sit here and talk to y'all until it hits 275 so you can see how just wonderful this thing is. 222, 224. Every time I turn around, it's went up 2 degrees, but you get the gist. 227. So it doesn't take long. And one thing I can say about this that I've noticed, it's so thick and insulated. It doesn't need it has no need for a water pan. I see people use them, but I tell you, if you go without it, you'll see this thing holds in moisture so well because it's so thick and well built. I've never seen anything like it. You don't have to spritz, you don't have to use a water pan. This thing requires no maintenance, and with this fan, you really don't have to do anything. So if this is something you've been in the market for and you want to, kind of ease up on yourself, because I've spent years throwing wood in an indirect smoker, and it can beat you up. It can be pretty brutal. It's considered old school now. I go to competition, and it can be 30 teams there, and maybe 3 with grills like mine that you got to throw wood on. You got pellet smokers, you got drums, you got gravity feeds, you got all types of smokers. I've done well with it, but I'm tired. My last competition, it rained, and I had to make a change. Something had to give, so I kind of started looking at other options, and here I am. This will give you like a good cross between, because you're still using charcoal and wood, it'll give you It'll give you close to the taste of an offset or an indirect, but with the ease of a pellet smoker, if that makes any sense. Especially with this fan, you got the luxury of setting the temperature and it doing it for you. As long as you don't get any clogs in the charcoal chute, which I've heard about, but I hadn't had any issues with it. As long as that doesn't happen and the gravity's dropping them down, and the only thing I have to do is add a wood chunk or two here and there until there's no need to add any more wood. So yeah, that's it. But I'm gonna let y'all go for a second. I'll be back though. I will be back. We're at 258. I'm not gonna make y'all wait to 275 because quite honestly my voice isn't that interesting. I know that, you don't have to tell me. But anyway, see y'all in a second. We'll come back and check on them in a little while. Oh hey, didn't see y'all there. Y'all caught me sitting on the job. But hey, that's just the ease of this signals and billow system by ThermalWorks and this gravity-fed smoker. Come here, I'm gonna show y'all I'm gonna show y'all how this thing works real quick while we're waiting on it to come up to temp. It's pretty cool. You're gonna like this. So this is the chamber where the charcoal drops down to, and where the fan controls the temperature at. And as you can see, open it up. I got a few cherry chunks down in there, but as the charcoal drops down, it lights that wood up, and that's where you get your smoke flavor from. Pretty cool. Like I said, once this thing hits 275, I won't have to do nothing until it's ready. Like I said earlier, you don't have to use a fan system with this. It's got a 1.5-inch ball valve here that came with it that you control the airflow with. The only problem I had with that the first time I used it, once I got it to temp, it was fine. Took a little babysitting to play with this thing and get it to dial in. It would jump sometimes and it would drop, but getting it up to temp was the issue. First time, I swear it felt like it took 8 hours, but it was about an hour and a half, 2, and I just don't have time for that. So I quickly did some research, went out, found this billows on ThermalWorks, and no problems. I love it. So while we wait, I just want to say this real quick. As you see, I had to go put on another layer. It's messed around and got chilly on us. But if you're watching this video, I want to sincerely thank you for coming to the channel and watching, taking your time out. I'm really trying to build this thing up and, you know, put some content out there with some good barbecue. Barbecue is something that I love. It's a passion. It's personal to me, very personal. Something I've been doing for a long time. It's so personal that the name Big Wallys it even has a meaning. Big Wally was my grandfather who introduced me to, well, between him and my dad, introduced me to outdoor cooking when I was a kid, and I've always been in love with it. So he also smoked cigars too. The logo is an actual picture of me and my grandfather. And I tell this story all the time. My dad's name is Rick. And when I was thinking of names, you know, it was, of course, you know, your dad is your first hero, but I felt like Big Wallys sounded way cooler than Big Ricks. So, and I think there may be a Big Ricks out there somewhere. Might even be a Big Wallys, but hey, whatever. Big Wallys is cooler. But like I said, barbecue is personal to me. I got the utmost respect for anybody that does it. Whether it's in the backyard, whether it's a business, whether it's competing, whether it's all three. I got a huge respect for it because it's not always fun, it's not glamorous, it's not easy, it's dirty. You get you keep cuts on your hands at all times. It's very long hours, and nobody sees that part of it. But you know, when you cut into that food and you see the joy that it gives people, it made it all worth it. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this channel. Be back at you in a few. Gonna go check on these ribs in a second. Right now I'm just sitting out here watching some football, checking the temperature from my phone because, hey, you can do that when you got a fan system and don't have to throw wood. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I'm extremely excited to just be able to sit down and not have to go check the temperature every 10 minutes and throw a piece of wood, open the smoker. If you do this, you know how it is. So once again, I appreciate you and keep them coming. I'm gonna try to keep good videos coming to you, and watch, I'm gonna get better at this thing. You'll see. Just stick with me and see where we can go. All right, we're 2 hours in. We're gonna probe them real quick, see where we are. Looking good, smelling good. Currently at 194. Moving right along. I'm looking for about 200. See a couple areas, in this thick area here is 203. Come down around 190. So I think I'm gonna let them go for about 15 more minutes and pull them. As you can see, no wrap on these. Come on in, camera lady. A good look at those. No wrap, nice color. And there you can see the moisture I was talking about earlier. I hadn't spritzed, I hadn't opened this grill for 2 hours, and that's how we're looking. Nice moisture, nice fat render. So I think we're looking good. Like I said, I'm gonna let them go for about 20 more minutes, and then I'll go ahead and pull them, and I'll see you at the table, ready to cut. All right, the ribs are off the smoker, rested, looking good. But now comes the moment of truth. We're gonna go in and cut them and get a taste, see what we're looking like. Cutting right through, smooth cuts. And just quick, if I were competing, I probably would have opened the door and checked these a little more often and probably wrapped them around 165, 170. But I let these go all the way through. No wrap. Got them all cut. Look good. Let's see what they taste like. I think I'm gonna grab one from the middle here. Nice smoke ring, good moisture, nice rib pull back, or bone pull back rather. Let's see. Excellent. Good bite, you see. Didn't pull away from the bone, but came away clean. Can't get much more perfect than that. Same thing on the other side. not. Say I did a pretty decent job on these. But just to recap, started a little earlier. You were with me through the trim, through the rub process. I realized going through the videos that I never hit the record button when I put them on the smoker, but I promise you they were on there. I really did. But smoked them at 275, 2 hours, proved them. They were almost done. And that's when I said if I were competing, I probably would have checked them a little often. This wasn't a big rack of ribs, so that was actually pretty quick to be so close to done. 2 hours and temping 190, that's pretty amazing. Like I said, the Old Country gravity fed smoker, it's a monster when it comes to cooking. Very precise. Temperature stayed at 275 all the way through. Pulled them, let them rest, and you see the final result. So I wish y'all were here to taste some, but I'm gonna take these in the house. Me and my family, we're gonna enjoy these. Wish you could try them. They taste real good. But until next time, we'll see you, Big Wallys Barbecue again.